Okay, picture this. A super simple one-line email just lands in your company's inbox. It looks totally harmless, right? But what you don't know is that it's about to set off this complex, time-sensitive legal process. This is the wild world of vague data requests, and today we're going to break down exactly how you handle them. And there it is, the sentence that starts it all. It's sent from some generic Gmail account. There's no user ID, no mention of any specific legal right, nothing. It's a complete mystery. Who is this person and what on earth are they actually asking for? So what do? I mean, is this just a casual question you can ignore? Or does this one little sentence actually carry some serious legal weight? That's the first and maybe most important question we have to answer. Oh yeah, the answer is a huge, emphatic yes. Under all the major privacy laws, this is a formal request. It doesn't need any fancy legal jargon to be legit. And if a company just dismisses it, they could be in some serious hot water. The big takeaway here is this is real, and the clock, it just started ticking. This is where we get into the whole concept of a DSR, which stands for Data Subject Request. And it's all built on this really fundamental idea that, you have rights over your own data. So at its core, a DSR is really just any message, an email, a form submission, whatever, where a person is trying to use their data rights. It's all about the intention, not the specific words they use. And that one-line email, it clearly shows they want to know about their data, and boom, that makes it a valid DSR. And this is where it gets really interesting, because that vague email could mean so many different things. Are they asking for a full copy of their data? Do they want it all deleted? Maybe they just want to correct a typo in their address. These are the fundamental rights that give a DSR its teeth. And honestly, understanding them is how you control your own digital footprint. Okay, so we've established the request is valid. But before the company can do a single thing, they hit their first major roadblock. How in the world do they know the person who sent the email is the actual person whose data they're asking about? This is what we call the identity puzzle. And here is the really, really tricky part. You have to prove who they are, but you can't just turn around and ask for a copy of their driver's license. I mean, think about it. That would mean you're collecting even more personal data, which totally goes against the whole idea of data minimization. It's a super delicate balancing act. So how do you solve this puzzle? Well, smart companies have a strategy. First, they analyze the context. Where did it come from? Then they figure out the risk. How sensitive is this data? They'll try to match the email address to an existing account. And if that doesn't work, they'll use info they already have, asking for something only the real user would know, like a recent order number. It's all about using what you've got, not asking for more. Now that we kind of get the process, let's look at the legal rule books that are running the whole show. Two of the biggest players on the field are Europe's GDPR and California's CCPA. These are the regulations you have to follow. And wow, this table really lays it all out, doesn't it? The pressure is on. Under GDPR, you have to acknowledge the request without undue delay, basically right away, and you've got 1 month to get it done. With CCPA, you have 10 business days just to say, we got it, and then 45 days to give them a full response. They're different clocks for sure, but they are both ticking fast. And here it is. This is the absolute key rule from both of these laws. Vagueness is not a good enough reason to just deny the request. You can't just toss it in the trash and say, sorry, it wasn't clear enough. Nope. The responsibility is on the company to actually engage and figure out what the person wants. So we know the law, and we know we have to act. But what does the practical, day-to-day playbook for handling these requests actually look like? The very first thing you do, no exceptions, is send a reply. You acknowledge you got their request, and then you politely explain that, look, to protect your privacy, we first need to verify it's really you. This simple step meets that initial deadline and gets the whole process started on the right foot. Okay, once you've confirmed their identity, it's time to get clear. You go back to them and you just ask directly, hey, are you looking to get a copy of your data? Do you want us to delete it, or is it something else? The whole goal here is to turn that vague, fuzzy request into a specific, actionable one. And through this entire back and forth, from that very first email to the final response you send, you document everything. Every single email, every verification step, every decision you make. This creates a crystal clear audit trail that is absolutely essential if you ever need to prove you did things by the book. All right, let's zoom out for a second. Why does all this careful procedure matter so much? Well, it all comes down to the simple but honestly profound power of your words when it comes to your own personal data. This quote just sums it up perfectly. The burden is on the controllers. That's the companies handling the data, to engage with data subjects. That's you, me, all of us. The law is specifically designed to empower people, and that means companies are the ones who have to do the work. So the crucial point for any business listening is this: preparation is not optional. Your whole team, from the folks in customer service all the way to IT, needs to be trained to spot these requests and know exactly what to do. One person thinking that simple email is just spam can lead to a massive compliance failure. And that really brings us to our final thought. That simple little sentence, I want to know what data you have on me, it carries immense legal power. It's a direct statement of your fundamental rights as a person. So the real question is, are companies truly ready to listen?